Finding clients isn't as easy as it seems. Many creators on YouTube or blogs write about it as if clients fall out of the sky. But the truth is, finding a client is hard and it takes a lot of effort and tweaking before you can crack that code. Today, we'll be exploring a couple ways of finding new clients. We're dividing this video into 3 blocks. In block 1, we'll discuss my own experience finding clients. In block 2, we'll do a deep dive into how I got my first few clients, what I got paid, and how it grew over time. I'll be painting a realistic picture for you so you know exactly what's up. And in block 3, we're doing a Q&A, trying to answer all of your questions you send me over Instagram and YouTube. Block number 1, my experience. For me, the most valuable step towards a sustainable career in filmmaking was the short films I've shot. Shooting these not only taught me a lot, but it also added to my portfolio and turned out to be extremely valuable in the long run. Of course, they didn't pay off the next day with my phone going all mental, but it was something I could show to potential clients and convince them that I had the skills needed for the job. When I started out 3.5 years ago, I'd message people on Instagram and see if they wanted me as their assistant or if they just wanted to grab a coffee. Also, I'd go around and ask at production companies by email, or I'd, go by if I knew where the office was, and ask if I could be a production assistant or a camera trainee. Again, this did not result in a lot of clients right off the bat, but it definitely established a network around me. Yes, you heard that correctly. I was hired as a production assistant, not as a camera operator, not as a DP, but at least I was walking around on a film set, gaining experience and earning some money at the same time. Then on the side, I'd come up with my own short film ideas to shoot and release on my YouTube channel and website. I used Instagram and Facebook to, push that video a little bit more in these groups, like the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera groups. And I just dumped my video in there and, hope that people don't find me annoying, which they probably thought. But anyway, it helped. People started watching my videos and my website and my portfolio gained some traction, which definitely helped in, potential clients finding my website and finding my videos as well. This went on for about a year until these 2 paths crossed and production companies found me for the work that I did instead of the people that I knew. This was confirmed by an email received through my website contact form from an American production company wanting me to shoot a testimonial for a Dutch client. They didn't know me at all, but found me by coming across my YouTube channel. I thought that was pretty cool, especially when I started out. To sum this up in an easy to read list: 1. Use Instagram, LinkedIn, Reddit, or Facebook as a communication tool for you as an artist. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and call yourself a filmmaker or photographer. People need to know what you're doing, otherwise they will never find you. 2. Lobby as much as you can and try to get into the industry to gain experience, like working as a production assistant or helping on-set catering, for example. All this time on a film set adds to your network and experience. 3. And this is undoubtedly the most important one. Shoot the work for what you want to be recognized for. If you get hired to shoot after movies, for example, but you want to shoot documentaries, go and shoot your own documentaries. Then share that with the world through your website, Instagram, YouTube, Vimeo, or other similar outlets. And then 4, don't underestimate your already existing network of friends and family. They might work at companies needing film services. Because of this, I actually landed one of my first paid gigs, which is a nice bridge to block 2. Block 2, the deep dive. Let's do a deep dive into my first 2 years as a freelance filmmaker and paint a realistic picture of how this turned out for me. We go back to 2019, the time that I finally grabbed my guts and told the world I was a filmmaker. At the time, I had 2 short films out online and I was active on YouTube, where I was heavily influenced by Matt Diabella. I read an article about a vet Navy SEAL waking up at 5 a.m. every day And his main argument that got stuck in my head was, if you, for example, wake up at 5 a.m., you've won your biggest daily battle already. My skills and confidence were very limited, but somehow I received an email from an organization that organized a bike race for athletes with a disability, and they wanted me to shoot an after movie about it. This was the invoice I did send in the end. I remember being so nervous sending this out because I've never done something like it. Now, the funny thing was that I did end up getting this job by a girl who I work with as a snowboard instructor. She had seen some of my YouTube videos and noticed I was a filmmaker because of my Instagram bio. Now, let's go through 2019 and 2020 and see where things started to shift. In 2019, I only had 2 jobs that was actually me holding a camera. In 2020, for the first 10 months, I only did 3 jobs where I was working as a camera operator. As you can see, there was a massive difference in pay grade compared to my production work, as I was still not confident enough to ask money for my film work. Things really took a turn though in October, when I was asked to document a graffiti project for, I think Sony PlayStation it was. For some reason, I did do another 4 projects as a DP in the last 2 months of 2020. In 2021, things completely changed with me working a solid 80% as a cameraman and 20% as a production assistant. I think it's fair to say that my network and portfolio started to pay off. People definitely didn't start calling all of a sudden. I was still hustling on Instagram, contacting people I thought their work was cool. As an example, I met Michiel, the guy who asked me for the Norway gig, via Instagram. And Wouter, the guy who joined me to Indonesia, I met also through Instagram. It started with a simple cup of coffee and a good chat and a passion we all share, which is film. If we fast forward to today and see how I landed the biggest project of last year, so 2022, it's based on the same foundation. My friend Frank once worked with a director as a photographer who was in need of a cameraman. I ended up working with her because of Frank's recommendation. We did 2 projects together. Then she started working for a production company. The producer was still searching for DP. So she gave my name to the producer called me, and that's kind of how my 2022 year started. That producer was Dominique. A quick sum up of this block. Go and shoot work that interests you. Take a phone or borrow a camera from a friend, and don't let anything stop you. Grow out your portfolio and let the world know that you really want this. However, be realistic. Clients don't find you overnight. And as mentioned in the beginning, it takes a lot of time and effort to crack the code. So be patient and experiment with different approaches. Maybe finding people on LinkedIn or Instagram works great for you. Or perhaps stepping into a clothing store with a camera at hand and try to sell your services the old-fashioned way. There is no right or wrong, but one thing is for sure, you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to get noticed. For me, that was by starting a YouTube channel and opening up in ways I've never done before. What's going on, everybody? My name is Sjoerd and I'm a Dutch filmmaker. I wanted to start this YouTube channel for quite a while now, but I've been... Block 3, the Q&A. First of all, thank you so much for all the questions. There is a lot, so I cannot answer them all, but I'll try to do my best. We'll start with the Instagram questions, with the first one from my mate Brewtown, which is Bruno. To what degree has your YouTube channel helped in landing clients? I'd say a massive degree, because YouTube is a great way in order to, put your creativity out on the internet and to find new people. And I have actually received quite a fair bit of emails in my inbox through my website saying they had found me on YouTube. So the answer is yes. YouTube has done a lot for my career, and I can swear that if I had not started my YouTube channel, I would not be here today. All right, so Nick Alders asks, landing your first client, landing clients consistently, pricing. So I've talked about how I landed my first clients, and something that I would suggest is you should come out as a filmmaker or photographer or any creativity thing creative thing that you're doing, people need to know that you're doing this line of work. Because to me, a lot of people in my already existing friendship network thing suddenly started texting me like, hey man, the company that I work for wants to do some video. Maybe you can do it. So that definitely helped, So go out there and tell the world that you're a filmmaker, and also shoot your own work and show that to these people, because then you at least have something to show. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be really good, but if it looks nice, then you're already halfway there. Next, a really cool question from Berani. In your experience, was it necessary to boost your portfolio on social media? No, I've never paid $1 to boost it in a paid way. I always did everything organically. So I posted my videos and my work in Facebook groups, on Reddit, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. I just pushed it everywhere I was active to expand my visibility. And I think that definitely works. So go give that a try. Next one is a Dutch one, so I'll translate it. Struggle vaak met de kosten van de video. Ben vaak bang als ik een prijs noem. Dat is afhaken. So Rens is struggling with the price of video and afraid that once he asks a higher price that the client says no. Well, the thing is that it's very important to know with what kind of client you're dealing with. If it's a big giant with a lot of money, don't be afraid to aim high. But having said that, you should be comfortable with the amount of money you ask. I mean, when I started out, there was no way I was ever going to ask 1,000 euros per day, because I thought that was a ridiculous amount because I was not a good filmmaker. But now that kind of is the day fee that I roll with. So it is, you grow with the money as well, if that makes sense. But yeah, to answer your question more specifically, check what kind of client you're working with, and also be transparent. I mean, just communicate. It's all about communication. Just say your price and try to break it open. That price involves this, involves that, like gear, time, use it. If you just name one price and that's it, they will think like, oh, that's expensive. But if you break it up in like smaller increments, then they would probably think like, okay, like the gear's costing that much, his time for edit is costing that much, and blah, blah, blah. So that's something that I always do, and I found it very useful. Next up. Do you have different portfolios to present to different kind of clients? A very good question, Marco WNZL. Yeah, at first I did have multiple portfolios, one for commercial work, one for narrative, like my own doc work. But in the end, I kind of made the decision that I only want to do the stuff that I personally really enjoy, which is documentary right now, or like TV educational stuff. So that's kind of what I left on my portfolio. But in the beginning, if you only have like 3 or 4 pieces on your portfolio, just leave it on your portfolio. Maybe do write in the description what kind of project it was, or in the title even. But yeah, and what I also did is usually I didn't even send my portfolio, but I just sent like this one video I was really proud of. That also worked. A question from Simon Spierings. After landing clients, how do you retain them? AKA how to build strong client relationships. What we do, what Frank and I do, is go to the office, have lunch with them, drink a cup of coffee every now and then. Just be cool with the client that you're working with. For us, that means a lot of marketing managers instead of CEOs. They don't bother with video production. So we often work with marketing managers if it's a commercial kind of thing. So we just text them, hey, want to grab lunch or want to grab a coffee? And that's usually what works really well for us. I always try to talk and communicate with people as personal as I can. I don't like that hierarchy or like I don't know. I just don't like it. So I just try to be myself every way I can. Also with a multi-million company. I don't care if they make loads of money. I just want to be cool with them. A good question from Phil Simart Official. How are you able to land gigs that are not in your niche? Example, I shoot more fiction than anything else, but I would love to attract more brands to do commercial work. A few of my friends are actually in the same boat, all right? So they do smaller commercial work things or fiction, and they want big budget commercials. Well, one of my friends actually made a very, very cool video, a commercial video, like a spec ad, and he spent a ton of time into that video. And to me, that is the best way to attract new clients. You send it off to agencies, you send it off to, I don't know, commercial brands that you think that video would work really good for, just to show them that you have what it takes to produce their next big commercial. If you really want to do the big stuff, you should either work your way up there and it comes gradually over the years, or you should just, invest your time and money into this one passion project that just gets you straight to that level, if you know what I mean. All right, another question is from Quinton Willemse. You're probably off scripting, but I'd love to know if the ratio of projects stemming from cold outreach to companies that actually reach you. He didn't write actually, I made it up. If that leans more to the latter, how have you reached that point? SEO, ads, cold outreach, networking, etc. So I have done cold outreach a couple times. So I've done it on LinkedIn a couple times and I sent a bunch of emails, but I only received this one proper message back on LinkedIn. That's it. What did really work for me was my network, because I really like to build a network around me in the place that I live. So Amsterdam, Holland. So I kind of know a lot of people, and I'm on really good terms with all of them. I call them friends even. So that definitely works, because if they cannot do a job, they pass it on to me, and I do the same. That's how it works. But that definitely helped me to gain quite some jobs last year. And the other thing is that YouTube does an enormous thing for my reach and for my clientele, because the amount of people that see my videos is quite a lot, and they all get drawn to, not all, but a lot of them get drawn to my website if they're interested in what I do. So I do get quite some emails in my mailbox that come from my website, and pretty much they all say that, hey, I found you on YouTube, I really like what you do, can we work together? That's basically how it works. So I think YouTube is a very powerful tool in order to get clients, but it takes a shit ton of time. I wouldn't really recommend it if you don't have the time, but yeah. Maybe one last question. The hardest part for me is to land clients where you already have done free projects. Need to get paid, but still not really implanted in the industry. The in-between kind of. All right. Yeah, it's really hard, because when I just started out, I did a lot of free work, and at some point these companies will take advantage of you. It's just the way it is. They will take advantage of you because they see a kid that really wants it but is too insecure to ask proper money, so they'll just keep on calling you, and they say, you do it for your portfolio or bullshit. So don't fall for that trap. Just do stuff for free once for a company, and then if they come back, just have a good chat with them. Drink a cup of coffee, go for lunch, and just talk it over. Like, hey, I need to make a living. I really want this, but I need to be paid for what I do. This helped. Then definitely don't expect a massive increase in money, but at least ask something that you feel like is fair. So I did a couple jobs for, I think, 50 or 60 euros for an entire video, an entire day of shooting, because I just liked what I was doing there. But then that kept on coming back and kept on coming back. And then I just told them, I want more money, because it is going to be my job. And they agreed, and then I got 400, 500 euros, which to me was a lot of money then. I think the most important part here is to keep them as your client. Just be cool with them, but be really communicative. communicative. Talk with them. That's the best thing to do. Just talk it over and do it in a chilled manner, not like a very official way. Just grab a coffee, go for a talk. All right, that's it, guys. This video is getting way too long because there's like 70 more questions to answer. So yeah, I'm sorry if I haven't gotten back to your question in this video. If you still have a burning question, definitely leave them in the comments below. I'll come back to that. But for now, thank you for watching. See you guys later.